This is Beware321 coming at you with my first Pokemon Go PvP Cup video. This is just a video of my Tempest results. I'm currently using my sleeper Flygon, using Lapras, Skarmory, Magneton, Charizard, and Tropius. And this is just a picture of the turnout. We had about 14 contestants show up for this one. So this is my first matchup against Zenji. The first thing I noticed about his team is it's weighted more towards the electric side. So that's why I bring in my Flygon, and that's also why I leave out my Lapras, my Skarmory, and possibly even my Charizard. So that leaves me with Magneton and Tropius for the first match. Alright, so here I go with my first lineup, leading with Flygon with Magneton and Tropius as backup. Alright, I lead with Flygon, and I see he's leading with the Wish Cast, so I'm feeling pretty confident here. As long as I dodge the blizzards, I should be alright. We have a little bit of lag right there at the beginning of the match, but I just start off with my strategy. I'm just going to keep on throwing out Dragon Claws as much as possible, hoping to take off chunks of life or shields, either or. All I know is I need to dodge that blizzard. So after I get the second Dragon Claw up here, I notice he's charging up quite a bit on that Wish Cast, so I'm thinking the blizzard is definitely coming soon. And here he pops off his charge attack. So thinking it's the blizzard, I went ahead and used the shield, and he ends up baiting me with the mud bomb. So I'm thinking for sure this is a blizzard now, trying to bait that other shield or trick me into getting one shot. But he double baits my shield, which kind of puts him back in a good position there. And I'm also guessing he didn't have the blizzard, which is why he wouldn't use it. So, or he had the water move. So here I do another Dragon Claw, trying to burn a shield or feint him, and he goes for the feint. So I'm feeling okay here. I'm 2 shields down, but I'm a Pokemon up. And I'm feeling even better here when I see this Raikou come out, because I know I soak up all the electric moves. So I figure I'm just going to Dragon Claw this Raikou all the way down, and by the end of it, I'm still going to have a Flygon. So here he pops off the move. I'm thinking it's something electric, I'm all good. And a Shadow Ball comes out of nowhere and drops my Flygon. So I just bring out the Tropius here and immediately get hit with the Switch Glitch. Luckily, my biggest strategy here was using the Razor Leaf for damage and getting off only 1 or 2 Leaf Blades. So I'm still feeling pretty good. I get hit with the Shadow Ball there. And I keep on Razor Leafing down, and he switches out right before I hit the Leaf Blade. So whatever's coming in is getting hit with this Leaf Blade or shielding. He ends up shielding the Flygon. So I'm still feeling okay here, I guess. I wish I could have got that off. But here I'm thinking the Stone Edge is going to come off and feint me now. But he ends up popping off the Dragon Claw, which gives me enough time or so, I think, to get off that last Leaf Blade. But right before that happens, he gets off another Dragon Claw on me. So now I'm left with Magneton. I'm feeling kind of bad here because I know how Flygon works against electric, but I also have that Magnet Bomb as secondary coverage too. So I'm going to go ahead and use that Magnet Bomb, saving Magneton from Flygon. And in comes Raikou at the last second, so I'm just hoping I get that discharge off before he gets that Shadow Ball off. And I end up getting it off at the last second. So that's the first round of the first match of my tournament. So here I picked the same team, same lineup. I feel like this is my best lineup against this team. I'm really liking Flygon for the neutrality against this team and the fact that he's electric heavy. So here I'm going to start with the Flygon, and he's going to pop off the Lapras. So as long as it's not a Night Shard, I'm feeling okay. And it ends up being a Water Gun Lapras. It's going to do a lot of quick attack damage to me, but not as bad as it could be. So I'm going to go ahead here and risk it for the Stone Edge. I decided to shield this Surf because I want Flygon to survive as long as possible against this team. So I pop off the Stone Edge thinking he's going to shield it. But surprisingly, he does not shield it, and that takes off a huge chunk of life. I guess he got used to me using the Dragon Claw so much he didn't think I could have the Stone Edge as a secondary attack. So now I'm going to Dragon Claw, and it is going to bait out a shield. So I'm going to keep on charge up to another Dragon Claw. I'm going to block this Surf right before I get my Dragon Claw just because I have the energy saved up, and again I want to save that Flygon. So here I'm going to Dragon Claw, probably take his Lapras out. No need in shielding it the second time. So there goes his Lapras, and he ends up bringing in the Meanum, which means he really doesn't have anything to stop my Flygon bringing in something that I hard counter. So I'm just going to keep on busting off the Dragon Claws, knowing Medium's not going to be able to do very much to me at all. Here comes the first charge attack, and I'm figuring it's going to be something with electric in it, so Flygon's pretty safe from that. Going to get off another Dragon Claw here. Now this brings Medium just down to failing, so it gives me just a little bit of time to charge up a little bit of energy with some more mud shots. And in comes his third Pokemon, being a Raikou, so Flygon ended up being my best pick against his team. I get off the Dragon Claw, he shields with the Raikou being his last Pokemon. He's going to get off some quick attacks on me, but being that they're electric moves, I'm going to have time to get off another Dragon Claw on him before he goes down. So Flygon has single-handedly almost taken out his entire team at this point. And here Raikou finally takes out Flygon, has to use a Shadow Ball. So here I'm just going to bring out Magneton, knowing that I can get to that discharge quicker than he can get to the Shadow Ball. And I'm just going to decide to go with the Magnet Bomb just because I figured, oh, he's electric, why not? Either way, he's going to faint. And I take him out there, and that is the first round. I'm sorry, that is the first match of the tournament. Alright, so this is the second round of the tournament. Initially looking at Keyshawn's team, I figured Tropius would be my best for coverage against his team. I'm going to put in the Lapras because Lapras has a lot of good matchups against Tropius' hard counters. And then I'm going to end it off with the Skarmory because he also hard counters a lot of Tropius' hard counters. So that's going to be my 3 for this matchup. Alright, so I have my team set here. I'm going to end up going with my Lapras as lead, Tropius and Skarmory as the backup. Right, he's going to start off with a Wish Cast, and still remembering that double bait from the first round. I'm dead set on not letting myself get baited by this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and trade serves back and forth with him just until one of us busts a shield. Fast forward. Alright, so here I'm loading up for another surf, and I'm popping off the surf here. And I believe this one's going to draw out the shield. And there goes the shield. He's trying to preserve Wish Cash for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and bust out a shield too, trying to keep that switch advantage. I want to make sure his Pokemon face first, so I keep that switch lead and don't have to trade into a hard counter. So there he ends up switching a split second early, which highly surprised me. I don't know what the strategy was or if it was a misclick, but I just keep on with what I was originally going to do, and I pop off the surf on Skarmory. And go ahead and get a second one off right before he has time to pop off the Sky Attack. I'm guessing he's just trying to load up as much energy as possible for my next monster, but those surfs are really hurting him. So here I'm going to bring out the Skarmory, which is kind of why I put him on the team just in case. Didn't want to get trapped by his Skarmory or his Altaria. So here he's going to pop off those loaded up Sky Attacks. With me having the one shield, I'm not too worried about him. He can't have that many up there, so I'm just going to do the same thing and farm up energy on him like he did on me. So here I'm going to take him out. And then I'm going to keep on. He comes out with the Piloswine, so I'm going to go ahead and use up one of my loaded Sky Attacks. I believe Avalanche, or whatever his quick attack is, I believe it's doing neutral damage to me, and that Sky Attack actually takes off a lot more life than I expected it to. But here I decided to switch out to Tropius. Since I had the last shield, I knew I could shield up the Avalanche, and I just wanted to Razor Leaf his last couple monsters down and just take his shields out of the equation altogether. So here he's going to pop back out with the Wish Cash, and the Razor Leaf is going to go ahead and finish it there. And that is the first match of the second round of the tournament. Alright, so here's my second matchup against Keyshawn. I used the same 3 again, but decided to lead with Skarmory this time instead. I know that if he has a Skarmory or an Altaria and does not lead with it, my Tropius may be in trouble later. But I figure with one win in the bag, it's worth the risk, so I go ahead and lead with the Skarmory. And here he brings out the Altaria, so I'm feeling a lot better about my decision. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple sky attacks, farm up some energy. Now we were having a few connection issues here. We had already reset once, and I asked him if he wanted to reset again, and he said it was alright, just let whatever happens happen. So we continue to match up. I bust out a sky attack here. He does not shield it, go ahead and takes it. So I keep on going. I know his sky attack's coming, and I'm already planning on letting my Skarmory soak it up as well. So here I continue with the second sky attack, hoping to feint a Skarmory or bust out a shield. I'm sorry, hoping to feint his Altaria or bust out a shield. And surprisingly, he shields it, so I just decide to farm up energy on him with the rest of my quick attacks. And feint him just in time to fill up that sky attack for the second Pokemon coming out. Now he comes out with the Piloswine, and remembering the damage that I did earlier with sky attack, I decide to bust out one. And I'm guessing he remembered the damage too because he decides to shield it. Now here, I'm guessing that I went Lapras because I didn't want to switch out and get hard countered into maybe that Altaria that might have been sneaking in the back. So I was just going to load up with Lapras, but I opt to not block the Rock Slide, and that does a lot more damage to me than I expected. So it kind of makes me nervous here. It kind of throws off my entire strategy, especially if that Altaria is in the back. Then I'm going to surf here, make it super effective, seeing that he doesn't have the shields. I still have the 2 shields, and it ends up being a Wish Cache as his third Pokemon. So now I have this match already won with my Tropius in the back that hasn't even come out yet. So there's the Mud Bomb. I'm going to go ahead and let him feint that. I'm going to bring out the Tropius. Here again, I get hit with the switch glitch on Tropius, but again, I'm relying on his Razor Leafs, and he goes ahead and finishes him off. Alright, and here's the championship round here. Going against Grizz Both of us are undefeated at this time. I still have yet to lose a single match, so I'm feeling really good at this point. Looking at his team, though, it was pretty spread out. This looked like one of those matches that really came down to what we picked. So for the first pick, I decided to go with Magneton, Skarmory, and Tropius. Alright, so here's the first match of the last round of the tournament. I decided, like I said, to lead in with that Magneton. It was just one of my favorites as my lead during practice trials. But he leads in with the Steelix, which was my worst nightmare, especially for my Magneton. I told everyone for 2 weeks now I believe that if I lost this tournament, it'd be to somebody with the Steelix. So I go ahead and switch into my Steelix counter Lapras, and he switches into his Skarmory just in time for a Surf. I get the Surf off, he's not going to shield it, and he's going to keep on coming at me, coming with a Sky Attack anytime soon. I get another Surf off. Now here I kind of lose count of his turns. I don't realize that he's already past the Sky Attack and he's overcharging, but he's going to shield mine right there. So now that he's overcharged, there's a chance that it could be the Steel move, so I'm going to go ahead and block it and try to protect Lapras for that Steelix fight. Gets the Sky Attack off, I shield it, and gets another one off, so I'm about to shield this one too, I believe. No, I let that one go through, and it almost faints it, so that's pretty much Lapras there. I'm going to go ahead and get this last Surf off before Lapras goes down. And I get the Skarmory down right before Lapras. So it's going to come out with the Lantern, and here I feel I made the mistake. Maybe I should have just let it go down so I'd have that switch advantage. But I figured I wanted to save it for that Steelix just in case. So I go ahead and get that first discharge off. He's not going to shield it. And here comes the Steelix again. Right on top of my Magneton like I knew it would be. So it's going to get crunched down. I'm going to get a discharge off just before I fade out. And I'm going to bring in Lapras and try to get as much damage down on Steelix before he faints me. So there goes that last one, and Magneton goes down. Here comes the Lapras to try to put as much damage on Steelix as possible and hopefully save the the Skarmory for his Lantern. So I get the Surf off here. right before Lapras goes down. And he actually shields it to protect his Steelix. So that's going to give him a little bit more time against my Skarmory. Now I'm going to have to shield his Earthquake. But I end up not shielding it. I don't remember why I didn't shield that move. I just felt like it was the wrong move, so I did not shield it. I believe I was waiting for that Lantern fight, but at this point I've already lost the match. So he goes down there, and I'm going to Sky Attack here. No, I'm sorry, I'm going to get hit by a Thunderbolt here, and I'm going to shield it and then go for the Sky Attack here. But it's not going to do that much damage to Lantern, and with that Charge Beam coming off, he's going to beat me to the next charge and faint my Skarmory. And that is my first loss of the tournament, first round. I'm feeling pretty on edge right now, getting ready for round 2. Alright, so here's the second match of the last round of the tournament. I decided to switch out Skarmory for Tropius this time for that extra Steelix coverage, and decided to lead in with Lapras just in case he thinks I'm leading in with Magneton. Alright, so I start the match off with Lapras, and he starts off with his Skarmory, which would have actually been great for a Magneton lead, but I go ahead and start the Water Gun down just to get up to the Surf. I don't want to give him Switch advantage or Shield advantage. There we have a little bit of lag on it, but he doesn't block the Surf, and he's going to keep coming down, so here comes the Sky Attack. And guessing he did the same thing as before, I'm going to go ahead and take this first one. And come in with another Surf right after his Sky Attack, but I believe I shield this one because I wanted to protect my Lapras. And then I'm going to get the Surf off here. And now I should beat Skarmory to the faint with just the Water Gun damage. Yeah, a little bit of second lag there, and he's able to get that Sky Attack off at the last second. So here I'm going to go ahead and let him get it off. Lose that advantage for a second, come out with the Magneton. Now if he has another Steelix here, then I am done for. But he ends up having an Altaria. And again, just like before, I end up not Magnet Bombing, and I'm only throwing discharges. But it still ends up working out in my favor. We're not in that same 2-shield scenario we were in before. There goes that first one unshielded. Here comes the second one, which he decides to shield. And then he's going to throw the Sky Attack off on me. And I soak that one up because I know I don't need the shield to get off to my last discharge. And right here I'm going to get off to my last discharge to get the faint off just in time. And in's going to come that Steelix, and there it goes. I figured he didn't have it on the team because he didn't bring it out sooner. But it was right there, right into my Tropius with the shield. So this is pretty much a win for me on this one. Go ahead and shield it there just for shield's sake. Get off the Leaf Blade here. And just charge up to one more Leaf Blade to finish it off. Now we're tied 1-1 going into the final matchup. We're both on edge right now. Don't know what to do, don't know who to pick. Alright, here's the final round. We're both on edge right now. I was having a hard time picking my third. I didn't know if I wanted to go with Tropius or if I wanted to go with Skarmory, just in case he came out with an Altaria or something. When I weighed the decisions in my head, I finally decided to put Tropius in there instead, and I still led with Magneton. I thought about leading with Tropius, but I decided to lead with Magneton. I decided to take the safe route and not the risky route. Alright, here we go, match 3. I lead in with Magneton, and he did take the risk. He took the risk and led with Tropius. And now I'm in that bad situation again, because once again, I'm going to do discharges and not magnet bombs. And Tropius wins the 2-shield scenario, I believe. So him taking that big risk was a big reward. So here, I'm just going to get Razor Leaf to death pretty much. Going to get off another discharge. He decides not to shield it, taking off a nice little chunk of life. But he's going to keep on Razor Leafing me down. Pops off a Leaf Blade. I decide to let it hit me because there was no point in saving Magneton. So in I come in with the Tropius to mirror him down now. And now he switches out and goes into the Skarmory, which switches me into my Lapras. So I'm still feeling okay here. I don't know what his third is, but if it was that Lantern from round 1, then I'm okay. If it's Wish Cash, even better. So I pop off the Surf there, get that damage down, and I opt to not shield here, and I take the Sky Attack. And then he has the second one coming up. He did his overcharge trick. So I shielded this second one coming in. And trying to get off that Surf before he has another one. So I'll go ahead and get the Surf off here. He decides to save the shield and let Skarmory go down. So in comes his Tropius to finish off my Lapras. And that is just going to bring in my Tropius again. So here, I just wanted to get the quick Leaf Blade off. I'm not too sure why I wanted to get it off. I think I was trying to do as much quick damage as possible or bait a shield. And he baited that shield out. So here, he ends up doing the Aerial Ace. So I blocked the Aerial Ace. Now I'm going here trying to charge up to this Leaf Blade before he gets there. Because if he hits me with the Leaf Blade, that's going to be too much damage in a Steelix matchup if it's not a water Pokemon. So there he ends up getting the Leaf Blade, and the time was a little bit off, and I end up popping the Leaf Blade as well. So now I'm regretting not saving that energy, but now that I have a full life Steelix, I'm fighting against it, and I'm going to charge up to a Leaf Blade here. But with those shields remaining, he gets off that crunch there. I get off the Leaf Blade here. And from all the sims I've ran and things I've looked at, even if I had that other Leaf Blade against him, I'd be dead before he would. He'd still come out with about 10 life. So that Steelix ended up being my finisher. Great match, Grizzweezy. Great win. Good tournament. So here's another shout out to Grizzweezy. Congratulations, Fort Walton Beach Tempest Cup Tournament Champion. Thank you, TBS Comics, for once again hosting our matches for the 3rd month in a row. I also want to throw a special shout out to Miss Elaine. She makes these beautiful glasses for the top contenders each month for the tournaments. I've been fortunate enough to get my 3rd one with my championship win last month and my 3rd place finish in Boulder. If there's one thing I can say I learned from this tournament is no matter how well-rounded your team is and how many holes you cover, sometimes it just comes down to team composition. And even then, sometimes you got to take that chance. You got to risk it for the biscuit. So that being said, you know, you learn more when you lose. Losing is just a learning opportunity. If you liked my video, seen anything you liked, enjoyed the content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Alright, YouTube, late.